Hello, all. Danger can lurk at every turn. You never know what might happen in the next second. Will a brick fall on your head? Or you might accidentally choke on a bone. Still, there are places in the world where you have to be extra careful. Many people have lost their lives or their health because they underestimated the seriousness of the situation. So let's take a look at these places, but remember, visiting each of them can cost you your life. Let's go. The Royal Bath. The Hawaiian Islands can easily be considered a true paradise on Earth. There is stunning nature, sandy beaches, gentle waters of the ocean, incredible views. In general, everything you need for a great vacation. One of the islands is called Kauai. Because of the dense tropical forests behind him, nicknamed the Garden Island. But in Kauai there is a place not only harmless beauty of nature. Having been in some areas of the island, you can easily lose your life. Particularly dangerous are natural pools. Take a look at one of them called the Royal Bath. It was formed in the rocks on the shores of Princeville many years ago and is filled with crystal clear water. Tropical fish swim here. So you can feel like you're in a royal bath and an aquarium at the same time. Could such a place be life-threatening? Oh yes. Unfortunately, all this beauty deprives many people of a sense of self-preservation, and in vain. The danger lies in unexpectedly large waves. Many unfortunate victims of nature's vagaries have been washed by them into the ocean. On the way to the royal bath you can even see a stone slab that warns about it. But more and more people still become victims of the elements. Solstromen. A small strait called the Salstrumen. It is a place with one of the strongest tidal currents in the world. It is located in the municipality of Budo in Nordland County, Norway. Up to 400 million cubic meters of seawater pass through the strait, 3 kilometers long and 150 meters wide every 6 hours. And if the numbers scare you a little bit, just take our word for it, it's very, very much. But the speed of the current is not the only danger of the Salstrumen. Powerful whirlpools with a diameter of up to 10 meters and a depth of 5 meters are formed here. Sometimes there are periods, and the strait becomes navigable. But this only happens at low tide. Few people would risk sailing in a place where the water rushes at such a speed, and also swirls into a powerful whirlpool. Nevertheless, the Salstrumen is a very suitable place for fishing. It is home to fish species such as halibut, cod and pollock. But these whirlpools are capable of dragging anyone to the bottom. And hardly a single person is strong enough to resist the forces of nature. Scientists say that the Salstrumen are approximately 2,000 to 3,000 years old. Most likely, the strait is the result of changes in the surface of our planet in the post-ice age. One can only guess how many victims during this time the Salstrumen have taken. Alnick's garden. Some plants can save you from death and some can kill you. More often than not, the sources of danger grow far apart. Still, there are places in the world where one can encounter all these plants at once. In the English castle of Alnwick there is a whole complex of gardens, and one of them is surrounded by a special fence with warning signs. This is a poison garden. It contains more than 100 species of the most dangerous plants, and therefore to be in a poisonous garden without a guide is really dangerous to life. The Alnwick Garden itself was laid out in 1750, destroyed during World War II, and rebuilt again in 1997. Back then, there were no poisonous plants here yet. They appeared in 2005. The main purpose of the garden to acquaint people with poisonous plants, to show what they look like and what can happen from contact with them. Grow in the garden is absolutely different plants, both deadly and partly poisonous. For example, you can find there a tunnel of poisonous Baligolof ivy, tickworm, vomiting nut and mantle, as well as many forbidden plants and mushrooms. Miklong Market. The railroad tracks are a place where you have to be careful and as careful as possible. A train carrying at tremendous speed simply cannot slow down quickly, even if the driver tries very hard. That is why everywhere there is a railroad, people try not to get too close to it, but not at the Miklong Market. This Thai railroad itself is no different from the 1 million other railroads scattered all over the world, except for one detail. It runs right through the market. Mik Long is one of the largest seafood markets in Thailand. According to the locals, it is unremarkable except for the variety of fresh and cheap products. Vendors with their goods and stalls are located directly on the train tracks. And when the train arrives, they simply move their goods aside. And although the train appears here only 4 times a day, strictly on time, the place still poses a threat to tourists, who sometimes crawl directly under the wheels to take selfies. But since the market is located on the rails just a few tens of meters from the end station of the railway line, the train goes very slowly. By the way, you're probably wondering how it came to be that the market's tracks ended up in the same place. The Mik Long market has been around for over a century. It was in this location even before the railroad tracks ran here in 1905. Usually in such cases the trade stops, but not only did the market not cease to exist, but it has become a local landmark. The road in the Andes. The Andes are the longest mountain range in the world. It is incredibly beautiful and unique animals can be found here, but at the same time it poses a serious danger to humans, especially if you decide to take a bus ride. Every day its driver puts himself in mortal danger behind the wheel. He drives his passengers along a narrow road, at any second, at the risk of plummeting into an abyss. It's a job that requires the utmost concentration. But even to be in the passenger's shoes on that bus is life-threatening. Nevertheless, locals don't seem to see it as a big deal. Would you risk it? Fraser Island. Australia's Fraser Island is considered the largest sand island in the world. It covers 1,840 square kilometers. It is also the largest island in Queensland. It is the 6th largest island in Australia and the largest island on its east coast. But that is not why we are interested in it at all. It is on the lake that you can still find ding dogs, which are almost impossible to interbreed with regular dogs. This is unique for the study of this species, but at the same time dingoes pose a serious danger to humans. Until 1995, there were no official reports of dingoes attacking humans on Fraser Island. In April 2001, a boy named Clinton Gage walked away from his family and became a victim of these wild dogs. After the tragedy, fines were imposed on the island for feeding dingoes or leaving food and garbage that might attract them. In 2000, fences were built around 9 island settlements to protect against dingoes, but even all this does not guarantee safety. University of Queensland researcher Nick Baker says that dingo dogs on Fraser Island behave unusually instead of hunting in small packs. These dingoes have learned to live all together and therefore pose an even greater danger to humans. Every now and then there are reports of dingoes attacking and biting tourists. Sometimes things take a more serious turn. Once a dog kidnapped a 1-year-old child and tried to take him into the woods. The family was sleeping in the mobile home when they were awakened by the cry of their son. The father saw that the baby was being pulled by the dog along with another dingo. Fortunately, the child was saved. Death Valley. Death valleys are found in many regions. But in today's list, we have included this one, located in Kamchatka, Russia. In the eastern part of the peninsula, there is an active strata volcano, Kikpinich. At its base at the top of the Dgeoz River is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. Death Valley was officially discovered in 1975. It was made by forester Kaliev and volcanologist Leonov. The site is 2 kilometers long and several hundred meters wide and kills any animal or bird that enters its territory. The cause of death is always the same, asphyxiation. In the gases coming out of the ground, most of the carbon dioxide. There is also a lot of hydrogen sulfide. These gases gradually accumulate and have a slow poisoning effect. There is evidence of the presence of more rapidly acting substances, presumably hydrocyanic acid and its derivatives. They cause paralysis of the respiratory center and also lead to death. It all starts when the snow melts in the spring, with the first warm rays. Small animals like rodents and rabbits come to the Valley of Death. In search of food, they just can't handle a dose of poison. Then the larger inhabitants come down from the mountains, trying to corpse the dead animals on the lower rung of the food chain. And, of course, they, too, fall victim to the gases. Over the many years spent studying the valley, scientists have found many inhabitants here. Lynx, foxes, wolverines, crows, eagles, bears. None, not even the largest specimens, could survive. Ganges River. The Ganges is a sacred river for the people of India. It is believed that if you take a dip in its waters, you can get rid of all diseases. And a sip of water from the Ganges purifies the soul. Unfortunately, today this is all but a myth, and a very dangerous one at that. The river is the source of water for 40% of the country's population. That's about 50 million people, and yet it is one of the most polluted in the world. Its waters contain many toxic substances, which increase the risk of cancer. But people come to the sacred river every day, leaving behind tons of trash that no one has cleaned up in years. Local residents recognize the problem must be solved. But so far everything is limited to the actions of volunteers. In addition, the garbage on the bank is not the only or even the main problem. Waste from various industries flows into the Ganges here. Yes, they are trying to regulate this process, but it is clearly not enough. And the dirty water contaminated by harmful substances still flows into the sacred river. Add sewage runoff and it's clear why the Ganges is considered one of the dirtiest rivers in the world. Thanks for watching, subscribe, you won't regret it.